So guys, I want to talk a little bit about what I want to see from the future of the Halo series. Now, Halo Wars 2 I'm actually very excited about. The leaked cutscene that was online, as well as the Vidocs and stuff, it's kind of rejuvenated my interest in the Halo series. I'm getting excited again about the story. Now, obviously the story is a big part, but there does need to be something else that Microsoft needs to do in order to kind of earn back my trust, as well as a few other people's trust. And one of the most important things that they need to focus on is there needs to be more focus on polish and quality control. The Master Chief Collection, we're almost 2 years in, and it's still not finished, and it's still broken, but Microsoft is still selling it. It's still on the market. You can go to the Xbox Live store or your local game store, and Microsoft is still proudly selling it as a complete package. And the Master Chief Collection, I like as a game. I definitely will not sell mine just because I like having all the Halo games in HD and 60 frames per second. But it's frustrating that it's basically the only reason that I can tolerate it is because I love those games, and I'm willing to look past the numerous amounts of UI issues, the bugs that plague the matchmaking of that game, the weird optimization issues that come from some of the campaigns, like Halo 2's campaign. Some missions cannot run at a stable frame rate, same with Halo 4, with some of the QTEs being mislabeled, the lighting broken on some levels, and Microsoft made no effort to pump extra resources into fixing it or anything. I mean, they just left it to die. There were a few, small maintenance updates, but nothing ever substantial. It was essentially, I feel like the only amount of effort that was put into fixing the game was at least get it to stop crashing so often. And then it's like, boss, what about the mislabeled QTEs in Halo 4? Hey, Halo 3, sometimes when you start up a game online, the screen is shrunk down and shoved to the corner of the screen. Should we fix that maybe? And then it's no, we're gonna move on to Halo 5. Whatever, if they buy it, too bad for them, it's broken. And then we get to Halo 5, and to this day, the theater mode is still broken. It is still broken and not working correctly, and obviously 343 is putting a lot more effort into Halo 5 than they did with the Master Chief Collection and getting that working, but it's just so weird how they haven't made a single effort to fix the theater mode, and if they have, it hasn't been anything substantial. And a lot of the newer game modes and stuff have weird, missing features, or just a strange lack of polish that is unusual for the AAA gaming industry. I think of, with Infection, how they literally forgot to disable the infected's ability to hijack vehicles, the way that if you assassinate an infected, you can pick up its energy sword. Obviously, they fixed that a month later, but it still doesn't excuse that, hey, the rec system, I currently have every single rec item in the game that you can get. I have all the certifications, all the armors, all the emblems, and basically whenever I start up the game, I have to wait 5 minutes at the screen because the rec service is unavailable, and I assume what's going on is it's trying to load in every rec item from the servers that they're stored on, but, I've had this problem now for 5 months, and I'm just going to talk to you guys as, hey, suppose I'm someone who's not into the Halo series, and I just bought my Xbox One, and I'm thinking, alright, Microsoft, sell me on the Xbox. I'm going to buy your Halo 5 game, because that's your flagship title right now, right? And I'm going to log on, and I'm going to have to wait 5 minutes before I can actually load up the rec service. I'm going to look at the UI, and your Spartan, whenever you try turning your Spartan, it hitches and freezes sometimes. Sometimes after the match, the lighting on your Spartan model in the customization menu is kind of broken. Now let's jump into Warzone. Sometimes the music just doesn't play. Sometimes the animations will slow down, then speed up, and then, sometimes they'll just straight up, pelicans will disappear or reappear. In fact, with Battle of Noctis, during the opening cinematic when all the pelicans are flying, right before they land in the hangar and you spawn in, the camera will actually clip through a building to the right of the screen, and you'll actually see that the lighting will break for a second. Shadows will disappear for a quick second and then reappear, and it's like, guys, why? Why didn't anybody look at that and say, man, if I was a new player and I saw that, I would think, that's weird. Like, why don't you guys, like, move the camera a little bit to the left? It's just, what's up with the lack of polish, the lack of attention to small details like that? Let's not forget how after every round in Firefight, all the enemies just die. They just die. There's no kind of way that maybe they're lifted off of the map or something. There's no, pelicans that come in and suck up the remaining enemies. There's not even, like, maybe a teleporting animation to get them out of there. No, they just kind of keel over and die of a heart attack, every single one of them. The phantoms will, like, grow almost out of thin air on some map. Like, and you can see it. You can visibly see the phantom just sprout out of the air. And it's like, you guys could have just hid that behind a mountain as it spawned in, couldn't you? Like, why is it out in the open for all of us to see it literally spawning in? Or look at the Phantom's turrets. There are no way to disable those. And it's like, well, that's not very fun. I'm literally shooting it, and I'm not getting any hit markers. The gunner on the side of the Phantom, I'm shooting it. Why isn't it dying? This is really bizarre and weird. And what's even more frustrating is I do actually have a few friends who play Call of Duty, and for them, they actually kind of divorced Halo because they were sick of the lack of polish, and they're constantly laughing at me and saying, oh, you're still playing Halo 5, guess what, whenever there's a bug in the new Call of Duty game, it's patched in just a few days. You guys have to wait for a month for something that's just going to add a feature that should have been in the game at day one, and they're just going to ignore all the other bugs, like the entire theater mode that doesn't work. And it's a little bit frustrating when I look at other games, not just Call of Duty. I look at Rainbow Six Siege, which, does have kind of its cult fan base, but even seeing Ubisoft, a company like Ubisoft, fixing it and updating it very frequently. Now, I do know that the game has quite a few issues, but Ubisoft, the game is basically dead. Its player population is very low, but Ubisoft is still updating it very, very frequently and fixing a lot of bugs. We saw with Battlefield 4, that game was broken at launch. Within 6 months, it was more stable and more advanced than Battlefield 3 was. And not only that, special servers were flipped online that improved the netcode and made it one of the most responsive shooters on the PC. In Halo 5, that game's been out for 7 months, 8 months now, and the theater mode, if anything, has actually gotten more unstable, and 343, so far, they've just kind of, shut their mouths and just kind of moved on, like, okay, keep quiet, don't talk about the theater mode, or they're gonna ask why we haven't fixed it yet. We'll just, reskin a warthog or something and shove it into a rec pack, and it's getting very frustrating, the lack of polish that the Halo series has been seeing the last few years, and for one of my biggest hopes in the future is that Microsoft begins pumping more money into testing special. In fact, Warzone Firefight currently has an exploit that is so simple, so simple, that it's honestly baffling that they didn't even think about it. If you die and you're waiting to respawn, and it's the last round, you got 30 seconds to respawn, just get yourself, like, a vehicle, and then get yourself another vehicle, like, buy yourself a vehicle, and then just buy another one, and you'll respawn instantly, and it's like, that's, like, a really weird exploit, because it's so simple, and it could honestly be done by accident, and it's like, why didn't I can't imagine that if they had good playtesters that were playtesting the game, trying to break it, trying to find every exploit, that they honestly could have missed that because of how simple that was. And it's just, I don't know, it's getting depressing to play other AAA games that are coming out, playing the Battlefield Alpha on my friend's computer and seeing it run beautifully as an alpha, playing Rainbow Six Siege, seeing how well that game seems to be holding up, as well as like playing other games that are coming out and then jumping onto Halo 5 and just having to swim through weird bugs and animation glitches and enemies despawning and respawning right in front of you with no attempt to hide, just kind of how little effort was put into that design. And it's weird how Microsoft is so okay with this just bizarre lack of polish being center stage for the Xbox One. You look at the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, that thing ran really well, and there were no glaring, weird UI issues or anything that were never resolved or ever fixed. You look at Dead Rising 3, Rise Son of Rome, Quantum Break for the Xbox One. You look at all of these, and it's just like, they all are fine. Their menus are really good. They're very pretty. They work well. There's no real glaring issues that were just never addressed. You look at all of these Xbox One exclusives, and the amount of polish and the amount of just like, it really feels like after the game was designed, they went out of their way to locate any glaring, weird design issues, any graphical hiccups or something, and they were like, let's polish that up a little bit. Remember, this is the Xbox One's big boy. We want this thing to look nice and pretty. But with Halo 5, it feels like they just designed the game and they're like, okay, it works. And then it was like, but what about, after Warzone Firefight's over, the Covenant just kind of fall over and die. That's kind of weird and immersion breaking. Hey, boss, why is the Spartan so jittery when you're trying to rotate him in the customization menu? Yeah, hey, boss, after I get out of this match on this one specific map, the lighting is kind of broken on my Spartan's character model when I'm trying to customize him. And then, hey, boss, why do I have to wait 5 minutes for my Rex to load in? The theater mode doesn't work. And it's just like, why is there this weird lack of polish when it comes to Halo? Now, obviously, I do think that there are improvements being made, because Halo Wars 2, it's about a year out, before release, and as a beta, it worked pretty good. I mean, obviously there were the day one issues where you literally could not log into the game because it would crash, but that was fixed really quickly, and then after that, the games worked incredibly well. The UI, for the most part, was okay. It was very obviously unfinished and stuff, but for a beta, it was fine. It was good, and it has me optimistic, because I'm like, they have a year before this game is supposed to release, and it's already running pretty well, so how's the final product gonna look? And so I'm optimistic about that, but then again, it's not being made by 343. This one is a completely different studio, and so I don't know. My only hope for the future of the franchise is, obviously it looks like they're improving their storytelling, but I want them to focus more on bug testing. I want them to focus more on polishing up animations and stuff, just making the game look more polished, less like a late beta build with all the weird graphical hiccups, UI issues, broken theater modes and stuff. And I don't know, am I just being, stupid about this? Are these valid complaints, or am I just being very nitpicky here? I just want to hear some of you guys' opinions and stuff. And remember, this does not mean that I hate the Halo series or anything. This video is not me saying Halo is the worst. Oh my gosh, Halo 343, I hate them and stuff. I think they're a very new company. I think that they have some interesting ideas, but sadly, I do think there is still a ton of room for improvement, and especially even on Microsoft's part with the way that they're handling the franchise behind the scenes. And I'm hoping that after Halo 5's kind of like lukewarm reception, I hope that this like scares Microsoft into like, oh man, maybe maybe we should take this series a little bit more seriously and allow some better quality control, not just like rushing each installment out the door for release, so we can get our money. In fact, actually, the decision to delay Halo Wars 2 to 2017, that made me really happy because, well, that means we're not getting a Halo game this year. That's kind of a good thing because the last few years, Microsoft has tried to do the yearly Halo release, starting with Halo 4. We had Halo 4, then we had that mobile game, Halo Spartan Assault, and yes, I know it's a mobile game, but it's still a Halo release in the year 2013, and then we had the Master Chief Collection with Halo 4, or 2014, and then we had Halo 5 in 2015, and it's like, with each release, starting with Halo 4, the quality has dropped, and obviously Halo 5 was not flat out busted like the Master Chief Collection, but it had such little content in it at launch that it's still weird that there were still lots of bugs and issues with the game. And so by delaying Halo Wars 2, I'm hoping that this is an admission of defeat by Microsoft that, alright, the yearly strategy is not working. We need to give the developers more time to polish up their games. But, just tell me what you guys think in the comments section. Let me know. I like reading the comments and stuff. And also, I have a secondary channel now. You guys requested that I make a new channel where I upload games that aren't Halo. And so this channel is Early Morning Gaming. And basically, on this channel, you guys request games for me to play, and I will play through them. Right now, currently, it started out as a joke between me and the YouTuber Favin. We joked that we would play through every Sonic game ever made because, Sonic is a series notorious for just bad games, and guess what, guys? Jokes are real now. We're actually doing it. I'm also planning on playing through every single Call of Duty Zombies map with the YouTuber Hidden Xperia, as well as possibly playing through all the Resident Evil games in time for Resident Evil 7, and just, I'm looking for advice on what games I need to play for you guys, and just, go check it out if you guys want to, but I'll see you guys on the next video.